Now, hi, my name is Mary Ann Shrum. I'm the director of the Office of Parent and Family Engagement. I am joined by Marissa Felice, who is director, and we are glad to be that you were able to join us tonight for this session on study abroad. We partner with different departments within the university, and we present information that parents might find useful. We did one last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, about living off campus, living off campus versus on campus. So we do town halls throughout the year. So keep an eye on, most of you are probably in Campus ESP. That's how we communicate with you through the Our Family Hub. So keep an eye on that, and you'll find more we call them town halls or information sessions. So I'd like to welcome everybody here from Rutgers Study Abroad. They're gonna, just to give you a quick rundown how tonight's gonna play out. They're going to do a presentation on study abroad. They'll share their screen and share a lot of information with you. While that's going on, if you would like to ask questions in the Q&A using the Q&A feature, they will also be answering your questions directly there. Just know that we're not using the chat tonight. We're using the Q&A feature, and we'll get to your questions as soon as possible. So I'm going to hand it over to Zio. You want it?
Yes, and can I ask
Sure.
one question, Marissa? Is there a link that I can forward to some parents that are emailing me right now saying they're unable to get into the session? Is there a link that I can send them?
Sure, I'll put that in the chat for you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm also going to start sharing my screen. All right, welcome everybody. We are the Office of Study Abroad. Typically, it's a bigger group than what is here today. We are a team of about 13 advisors, but here today, myself, Rocio Ruiz, and I'm the Assistant Director for Short-Term and Faculty-Led Programs. Patty?
I'm Patty Welsh, and I am a Senior Study Abroad Advisor, and I work with students who are interested in doing semester and year-long programs. Lauren?
Hey everyone, my name's Lauren Winogrand. I'm the Assistant Director for our semester and year-long opportunities. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Great. And special treats. Throughout this presentation, I included a lot of pictures of our students. We love that students share these pictures with us. We even give them scholarships to share pictures with us and create media. So throughout the presentation, you'll be seeing a lot of pictures, which I think will be helpful for you to also imagine your student participating in one of these programs. This is a faculty-led program to Jordan, and we'll see a couple more pictures from this program throughout. So the Office of Study Abroad. Study Abroad, we're part of Rutgers Global. Rutgers Global, if you are a parent of an international student, you might also know it as the office where the International Student Services Office is. And our division within Rutgers Global, we focus on sending students to other countries. And we do that by creating opportunities that are academically rigorous. We always highlight the study in study abroad, and they have to be degree relevant. So we know that students that are going to participate in these programs are doing credits and completing credits that are going to count towards their major, towards their professional development, and whatnot, and always culturally transformative. We offer more or less 150 programs every year. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down a little bit. We send about 1,000 students abroad every year in semester programs, academic year, and short-term programs. And every year, our office alone gives out about $300,000 in scholarships to students, but we facilitate a lot more in scholarships throughout grants and scholarships from other offices and entities. Here's a picture of what you can imagine, students participating in a panel in Puerto Rico. So why study abroad? I think you might already see some of these as obvious answers. The academic enrichment, students are going to continue fulfilling academic requirements. They're going to get an international perspective to their academic major. It's also a great opportunity for personal growth. When our students, when they start their degrees at 18-year-olds and when they leave at 22, it's a huge change. And this is another opportunity to continue and further that personal growth. For a lot of students, this is the first time that they are traveling, their very very first passport is for their study abroad program. It could be the first time that they're traveling or living without their parents outside of the family home, or without roommates, or having to find new roommates. It's definitely an opportunity for self-reliance. They have to get themselves to the airport. They have to be in charge of their suitcases. They have to get settled into their new dorm. They have to find their way to their new university, et cetera, et cetera. It's also a great opportunity for career development. It's something that makes you more marketable. It exposes you to new career options, to a bigger network, to mentors. It also shows a willingness to take initiative despite the risk, to do something different, to stand out. In the US, only about 1 out of every 10 students studies abroad, whereas in places like in Europe, that's more like 5 out of every 10. So in the United States, having a study abroad experience is something that definitely stands out. And also for the students who develop a foreign language skill, there are studies that reveal that bilingual workers can make 5 to 20% more than monolingual workers. Here's a cute picture, one of my favorites, of one of our students joining some Irishmen singing Irish sea shanties. Another question that we get from students and parents is, where can I study abroad? This is a little bit of a representation of, we are in every continent, as you can see, and the names of the countries are listed here, but the opportunities in each country might be a little bit different, and I'll get to that in a moment. But while we try to have a very varied portfolio, and we want to increase our presence in every continent and make sure that students have opportunities to study the things that interest them in the new locations. In some locations, it might not be possible to have a semester option, so we only have short-term programs. In other places, we have a whole semester or academic year program, but we don't have a short-term program. So that's why our website is always the best way and place to start and look. Here's a cute picture of our students in Rome, Italy. These are semester students in one of our partner universities. What type of programs can they do? Patty, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so we actually offer 2 types of programs. The first one is semester and academic year program, and these are programs where we have established relationships with universities abroad, and also study abroad providers who run programs all over the world. Through our partnerships with our universities and providers, students can choose courses that will can satisfy Rutgers requirements and allow them to sample different academic interests. We'll talk about academics, think a little bit more about the credits, so hold on for that. We also offer short-term programs, and these are short-term programs that are run over the summer, over the winter, and we also have what's called fall embedded or spring embedded. Usually programs run anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks in length, and they're usually about 3 to 9 credits. Many of these opportunities include service learning, international internships, global research, and just hands-on experiential learning.
Thanks. Here's another picture of the program in Jordan. And this is the website that I was referring to earlier. How does one choose a program? This is your landing page. This is the first place to start. Right now, we offer 146 programs on a website, and you can't see it here because it's blocked by that bubble, but we have filters. So students can filter out by semester, by term, by field of study, by location, by type of program. And we also help. So a student would come to advising, and then if they really have no idea where to go, what to do, we start asking them these questions. What are your academic, your professional, and your personal goals? How long do you want to be abroad? When should you go abroad? Is it in your first semester of your sophomore year? Is it in your junior year? Is it the summer before your senior year? Do I prefer a more structured experience? So somewhere where the itinerary is going to be planned out for you and every day you know what you're doing? Or do I prefer a full immersion experience? So you're going for a whole year and you are just going to become a local. You're going to go to the university with your local students, and you're going to have an apartment, and you're going to be doing your groceries and cooking and going to class and going to the library and going out. What courses should I take abroad? Am I looking to receive elective, major, or minor credit? And do I understand the program cost and the financial aid available? This probably is a good summary of what every one of our advising appointment with students covers. Here's a picture of one of our language immersion short-term programs in the winter. This is in Paris, but the program is in Aix-en-Provence in the south of France. And here's another example of a faculty-led program that happens over winter and summer, and they go to Greece.
So
Okay.
let's talk about academic planning. I know there was some questions about the credits. So because you're studying abroad through our programs, all credits are considered Rutgers credits, and they will count towards the graduation total. That's that 120 total that students need to have in order to certify for graduation. Students receive a letter grade. We don't do pass fail, so students know that this is an academic program at its core. So grades are earned and will factor into GPA. We do have a course equivalency approval process. Students should be talking with their academic advisor about their academic plan, their academic mapping. If they're looking to fulfill degree requirements, which many students do, they can fill major, minor, or core requirements, and that's with academic approval. I know there was a question about language. 99% of our programs, the courses are taught in English. We have a few that are structured because they're actually language and culture-based programs. So a student would need to know the language of that country. But rest assured, on every single program page, we would let the student know if there is a language requirement.
All right, working with advisors. Okay, so we have the study abroad advisors and then we have academic advisors. So the study abroad advisors, and what we do in our office, that we help the student compare the programs. We explain the logistics involved with one program versus another. We explain how the health insurance is going to work. We connect you with the host university and we help you prepare for the departure. We also support the student while they're abroad. If it's an emergency, a health crisis, then when they get their grades, getting those back into the transcript at Rutgers and their overall return to Rutgers. Now, the academic advisors in the academic department will be the one to approve how the courses that they take abroad are going to count towards their major and minor at Rutgers. Some departments have a designated academic advisor that's their sole job, is to help students with those equivalencies. And other departments, and probably in smaller majors, the undergraduate program director will be the main contact for the course approvals and recommendations on where to go, when to go, and what to take. Oh, here's a picture of our intensive Mandarin in Taiwan a couple summers ago, and a picture of students in St. Lucia. Okay, so you might be wondering, who are our partners? When my student leaves Rutgers and goes to another university for a whole semester, for a whole academic year, where are they going? Who's taking care of them? And what are they studying? Who hires those professors? So these are examples of the big universities that we partner with. And some of them might stand out, like London School of Economics, or John Cabot University in Rome, or University of Valencia in Spain, Stellenbosch University in Africa, Macquarie University in Australia, West Indies in Barbados, also Ritsumeikan in Japan, or Yonsei University in South Korea. Our students have access to all of these universities. Now, some universities are going to offer all majors like Rutgers. Some universities will be for only a few majors or some majors, maybe, and that's why we have several options in each country, because we want to have options for everyone. So a student might say, I want to go to South Korea, and we'll ask, well, what's your major? If their major is something technical, then we might send them to Yonsei. But if they're looking to do language and culture, then we might send them to Ewha University. So we like to have a big portfolio in these great locations so that everybody can find what they need to take.
Marcia, can I just stop you for one sec?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that everybody in the audience knows that they should put their questions in the Q&A. We're not using the chat feature tonight for questions, and I want to make sure there's a fair amount of questions in there. I want to make sure that that you guys from Study Abroad can see those questions in the Q&A.
Yes.
So if you could go in and answer them, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. All right, let's keep going. So I'm going to now talk a little bit about the different types of programs. And one program that you might have already heard me say, I said Rutgers faculty-led program. What does that mean? That means that it's the Rutgers faculty, so the same professor that teaches your students here, they design a course that's actually going to be taking place almost completely, if not completely, in another country. The professor chooses the topic and the location because they're connected. The professor will be the expert on not only the topic that is being taught, but also of that location. So they typically have years of experience researching in that location, or they have deep connections with the university and they have partners there, or it might even be their home country. And it's a great location to study a certain subject or topic, so they take a group of students with them there. Normally, a group of students that could be, in some cases, it could be as small as 6 or 8 students. In some cases, we're taking 20 or 30 students. And then the number of faculty that are traveling with the students is going to vary. These programs take place during the official breaks. So that would be in the summer, in the winter, or spring break. And they are always 4 credits. The student is registered in a Rutgers course number. They get a letter grade at the end. And we really create a little bit of a Rutgers bubble in most cases. So the students are living together in a hotel, in a hostel, in a dorm, depending on the location. And they live and study and travel together along with the faculties that are directing the program. So during that time, and it's typically 10 days to 4 weeks, the Rutgers professor is the teacher, the chaperone, the mentor, the translator, the interpreter, and everything in between. I'm hoping this will work. So that, how do I get out of here? Oh, sorry. Did I just lose you?
No.
No,
No.
you were here.
Okay, let me just share it one more time from where I was. So that was an example of a short-term program where they study in London, they study Shakespeare. So instead of reading the plays here, then we're actually going to read them and then go watch them, see them professionally at the Globe Theater, and go to the birthplace of Shakespeare and spend 2 weeks there and earn 3 credits. And if another, this is another option. This was a faculty-led program to Benin, study art history. This is a faculty-led program in St. Lucia. This is in Tanzania. This is in Patagonia. This is in the Galapagos. And this is a journalism course in Bologna, Italy. So as you can see, our faculty develop programs all over the world, and there's also a varied portfolio of topics. This is another type of program. These are internship programs, which are also very popular. These internships happen only over the summer, mainly. They are 4 credits and they are unpaid, so the students can actually register in 3 to 6 credits, and in the summer, typically 6 credits, which allows them to apply for summer financial aid and have them help them cover the cost of the internship program. The students work with a internship coach coach that helps them fill out a questionnaire and match with a company or an employer in their location abroad, which could be London, Prague, Grenoble in France, Sydney, or Buenos Aires. They are also taking an online course at the same time that they are participating and working every day in their internship hours. And then when they get back, they have a letter grade. And these internship programs are typically 6 to 9 weeks. Now, there are a select few semester programs that also offer the possibility of completing an internship for credits, and that counts as part of the course load that they have to take during the semester. A couple examples would be in Brussels School of Governance in Belgium or John Cabot University in Rome. So students, instead of taking just 12 credits, they might be doing 12 or 9 credits plus a 3-credit internship during the semester. Here's another program, another picture of our students in Thailand with a professor. This was in Spain. We have this in Puerto Rico. And now we can talk a little bit about financial planning. Patty, do you want to cover this?
Yes, and then I'll have you start with the chat.
Okay.
So financial planning, the beauty of our programs is we bill through the Rutgers term bill. Every single program will have a specific program cost, and that's clearly identified on our program page. The program cost is posted to a student's Rutgers term bill. So if a student does receive financial aid, Rutgers scholarships, grants, anything that would apply to the term bill will carry with them through the term they go abroad. Now for summer, students have to be enrolled in 6+ credits, and that's either 6 abroad or 3 abroad, 3 here at Rutgers, but that's a financial aid requirement. Unfortunately, the financial aid is not available for the winter. We do offer scholarships, and we have a person dedicated in our office to help students navigate the finances, the budgeting, and also scholarships. We have a scholarship directory on our website where we post as many of the national and federal scholarships that we are aware of. And we do work with students to identify those. And also we are connected with the Learning Center so that students can write really competitive essays. We always want students to access our resources. As I said, we have a person dedicated to finance and budgeting. She actually works with students one-on-one. And so we do encourage students to attend our information sessions. And as I said, we also encourage students to do that personal one-on-one advising.
Okay. So paying for study abroad. I tell students you pay for study abroad the same way that you pay for Rutgers, because the cost of the program is going to vary depending on the length and the location. There are all different factors, but we will provide information that will help the student choose from the options that are academically appropriate for them, the one that is within their budget. And then the program cost is going to be billed on the student's term bill in the semester that they travel, during the semester they travel. And then there are out-of-pocket costs that are each student's responsibility, and I'll talk about those in the next slide. So each program has its own price. A program in Costa Rica is not going to cost the same as a program in Switzerland because the cost of living is very different. A program that is 3 weeks is not going to cost the same as a program that is an academic year because of the length. So on our website that works a little bit like a catalog, each program has its own page, and with all of the information, and at the very bottom, you will find this right here for each program. That is the cost of the program. This is an example of a cost of a random short-term program from a summer program. And as you can see, we have program costs that go on the term bill, and there's a difference between New Jersey resident, non-New Jersey resident, undergraduate students, and graduate students, and it tells you what is included for that one. So we have tuition and housing, most meals, the excursions, the admin fees, and the health insurance. Now, out-of-pocket costs for this program, the students had to buy their own airfare. They had to have some extra money for meals that were not included, and then always some access to money for personal expenses. And the personal expenses and the meals, those are going to vary depending on the student's lifestyle. If it's an opportunity for them to buy food, groceries, and cook that for themselves, or if they're eating out a lot, if they're walking and taking public transportation, or if they're Ubering everywhere. So that's going to depend on each student. But every program is always going to include the tuition. So there's not a separate or on top of it a cost. Like the cost of the program replaces the tuition, and or it includes the tuition, it includes the admin fees and the health insurance. Most programs will all also include housing for short-term programs, summer, winter. That's going to be the case for all but one program. And then the short-term programs also include all of the visits, the excursions, etc. For the semester program, again, it's going to vary depending on the agenda and the program itself, but that will be detailed on each website. So the student can compare when they're choosing between programs, they can compare the cost of living, the expected out-of-pocket cost, if a program has a very high visa cost versus one that doesn't. So all of that will be spelled out for them to compare. Oh, he's a program in Mexico. And now I also wanted to touch a little bit on health and safety abroad. I know that some people had a lot of questions about this. So in a quick way, just to give you an overview of the health and safety and risk management that we do here at Rutgers. So first, health and safety training. So all the students have to attend a mandatory health and safety orientation that our office puts together that covers all of the basics for safe traveling. We assume that the majority of our students have not traveled as independent adults before, so we go very basic. We talk about when is it safe to take out money at ATMs, when is it not, a currency exchange, getting your phone to work, how to communicate with your parents when you're abroad, airport arrival, everything that you can think of. It's a pretty lengthy orientation, about an hour and a half, and we focus a lot on being proactive and taking care of ourselves abroad, making sure that we are keeping some of our routines that keep us healthy. So if you exercise a lot here, then you want to keep that routine when you're abroad. Make sure that you bring with you something that's going to bring you comfort for when that culture shock kicks in. And then separately, we do program-specific orientations with just the students that are going on that particular program, and that will include country-specific recommendations. For those faculty-led programs that we talked about before, we also have the faculty complete risk management trainings that is pretty lengthy as well. We even go as far as creating a quick course that the students have to take that covers just the health and safety measures, and they even have to take a quiz and pass it before we consider that requirement completed. I know there were questions about international health and travel insurance. So Rutgers mandates that all of the students that participate in study abroad programs have to be registered in a international travel and health insurance policy. Right now, our insurance is through an organization called Crisis 24. And this is pretty extensive coverage. So while they're there, this coverage is going to cover all of their medical emergencies, their replacement medication if they lose it, evacuation, repatriation, hospitalization. So this insurance, if a student has a fever, needs to go get antibiotics, that's going to be covered. If a student breaks a leg, that's going to be covered. If the student has appendicitis, that's going to be covered. If they have to go into the hospital and get surgery, that's going to be covered. And if at a certain point the student has been in the hospital for 3 days, then they will also fly out a parent or guardian that can come be with that student in the hospital in the location and cover that as well. And Crisis 24 is more than just the health insurance. It has these great dashboards, gives us alerts for emergencies, things to keep an eye on. So we have a department at Rutgers that's called the Risk Management Department. And there's someone there that has a cell phone on them 24/7, and that is a dedicated number that we share with the faculty who are leading programs abroad and with our partners abroad. So a university in France that is receiving Rutgers students as part of their contact sheet for us, they have this 24/7 number. So if at 3 a.m. they get notice that somebody, was out and about and they had an accident, then they're going to contact us. We also have dedicated staff that is monitoring political and environmental developments. So we do that constantly. So before the students depart, if something has happened in the country and it's no longer deemed safe, then we will cancel that program and refund the students. If the students are in the location and something is happening where we think, okay, we need to cut that program short, then we're going to do so, communicate that to the students, get them new flights, and bring them back. We also are only allowed to operate in countries that have a level 1 or level 2 designation from the Department of State, with some few exceptions to level 3 countries. Definitely nothing for level 4. We also have partnerships with on-the-ground staff. So when we have students on the ground, we have somebody that is local that can be either a program provider, a travel agency, a host university, and our counterparts there that will keep monitoring the student and keep us in the loop. We have 2 resident directors. We have a resident director who lives in the UK and another resident director in Spain. They have come in handy several times when a student needed help, needed assistance in anywhere near their location. And we also keep doing site visits, and there's frequent visits from our leadership to the campuses where we send students to make sure that the standards are continue to be met. We also, if we're offering a program through a program provider, so it's not a university, but it's an entity, a company that offers these type of programs for students, and they're receiving them and taking care of them, we will do a site visit as well every few years to make sure that everything is, the picture does not lie. Everything we're seeing is correct and it's still safe and appropriate for our students. Like here in Costa Rica. Or here, where is this program? I think, oh, this was in Colombia. And this is a faculty-led program in Cuba. We have another faculty-led program. This is in Oxford and Mérida in Mexico. And that would be it. And now it's time to answer all of your questions, but I also want to leave you with this screen here. So if you haven't already visited our website, global.rutgers.edu/study abroad, that's where you're going to find all of this information and more, and all of the program pages. You can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. It's where you can find great content that our students create. And if you want to go deeper and have any questions or want to meet with us, our email address is ruabroad@global.rutgers.edu. Okay, and now I'm going to stop sharing. And should we
There
do
we
the
go.
questions?
Sure, great. Thanks so much for that rundown, guys. I learned a lot. There's a lot I didn't know about study abroad, so it's always helpful for me to sit through these presentations, and then hopefully Marissa and I can answer questions later on. So we're going to switch over now to the questions that were pre-submitted by parents. I just want to let everybody know that's in the audience that you might not hear your exact question answered because there are very similar questions. We kind of combined them. And some of your questions were probably answered during the slide presentation, but also in the Q&A. But, feel free to keep putting me in the Q&A, and I'm sure these guys will get them answered as much as they possibly can. So we're just going to start out, and I'll let whoever thinks you guys decide who's the best to answer the question, as you guys know what your expertises are. So someone asked, is this program available for second-year students? So I guess the question basically is, is this available to students, second, third, and fourth year?
Students can apply to study abroad as early as the end of their freshman year, the summer after their freshman year. Then they can, usually most students, if they're looking to do a semester, will go second semester, sophomore, anytime junior year. And I have had a lot of seniors go abroad recently as well. But the first time they can go abroad is the summer after their freshman year.
Okay, great. Thank you. There was quite a few questions, also pre-submitted questions around students in specific schools. For instance, it was brought up a couple times about, for instance, somebody who's in the engineering program. Can they when they go abroad, are they taking general ed classes, or can they continue their engineering studies while they're abroad?
They can do both, actually. Engineering students, if they're looking to do a semester, engineering has recommended students look to do their second semester sophomore. That tends to be the most time that's pretty flexible. But I have had upper level engineering students, with the approval of the engineering department, take engineering courses abroad. They've gotten course approval. We also have a program in the summer with John Cabot University that actually offers engineering courses, so students can enroll in and possibly fulfill some of the engineering requirements. A lot of engineering students as well decide they want to do summer, and they're going to do those core requirements. Students still have to do the humanities, the social sciences, and a lot of our students will look to do those requirements over the summer.
Okay, great. And can international students study abroad?
Yes, absolutely. We work closely with international students. We encourage international students to study abroad. They follow the same process as a U.S. passport holder, other than they might have to go for a visa or a different type of visa, and that we would work with the students.
Okay. And then someone would like to know if there's selection criteria for the applicants.
Every single program will have its own requirements of the guidelines, and the guidelines of students need to meet. There's always a GPA requirement. There's always a personal statement. Some of the semester programs require a letter of recommendation. There are programs that are very popular, and so there could be a specific number of students that we can select to run a program. So, as long as a student meets the requirements, meets the GPA, and gets their application in early, there wouldn't be an issue.
Okay. And there was a couple questions that were pre-submitted also about housing. If they're living at Rutgers, do they pay housing for one semester at Rutgers and then one semester abroad? Because I know Rutgers Housing has a contract. So
Yeah. So how it works, if a student is looking to do a semester, right? So if they're going to go for a fall semester, first of all, we always tell students, make sure you secure housing. When you are approved and you're ready to go abroad, you've gotten your acceptance, you will tell Res Life and Dining you're going abroad. You show them proof that you're going abroad. They will release you from your contract, and they will remove the charge from your bill.
Okay.
Then to come back on campus for the spring, you will have to apply through Res Life for housing for the spring.
Okay.
You go in the spring, you get your housing contract for the year. You tell Res Life, I'm studying abroad in the spring. They'll release you from your contract.
Okay, that's good to know. I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
That question, I wasn't sure how that was handled. Here's another one that's kind of vague, and I think you might have covered this in a slideshow, but the question is, can you highlight the differences in programs that are full semester, or the ones that are over the summer or over winter break?
Yeah, it's very clear and spelled out on our program page. If it's a summer program, it's going to say summer. If it's a winter program, it's going to say winter. If it's an embedded program, it's going to say embedded. And then also on every single program page, we give the dates of the program.
Okay. And I know that there was a fair amount of pre-submitted questions specific to countries that parents and families wanted to know the cost of those programs. Are they all on the website as well?
They are. Every single program is going to have its own financial information. It's at the very bottom. It'll tell what the program cost is and the out-of-pocket expenses.
Okay. Let's see what else. And I think you answered this, but I know it came up a couple times, so I'm going to just ask it one more time. how does it work with scholarships?
Yeah, so scholarships, we have our own Rutgers Global Study Abroad Scholarship. We have an essay in our application that students are asked to write and submit by specific deadlines. The scholarships are then reviewed by a committee, and if awarded, then the student will be notified. We also work with students and have a scholarship program webpage where we list a lot of the federal and national scholarships. We also work with countries that they also have their own scholarships, and we do try to identify those as well. Some of our Rutgers academic partners have scholarships, and we direct students to that as well.
Oh, okay. And can you use, and I'm not sure if you can answer this, 29 plan to pay?
So the 529 plan, because we're billing through the Rutgers term bill, once we post the program cost of the term bill, however you pay your term bill is how you're going to pay the cost of the program. If it's through a 529, yes, you know, there are out-of-pocket expenses, so you definitely want to be planning financially for those out-of-pocket expenses.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I'm not sure if you can answer, again, another one, because this is around Rutgers housing. Is housing guarantee, is Rutgers housing guarantee when a student returns from study abroad?
If you're talking about like for a spring, we've never heard that a student was not given a bed. Students should talk with Res Life to answer that question because they do the housing assignments. But
Okay.
typically, students usually get housing if they're going to find an empty bed for a student to be placed on.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've never heard of anybody not getting housing either, but
We haven't either, knock on wood.
but there's always a first for everything, I guess. Um, and this is kind of a general question as well. How should a student best prepare for studying abroad? I guess
Oh,
just
they should,
advice
yeah,
that you
they
might
should
have.
come to our office right away as soon as they get on campus. We offer virtual advising hours. Get familiar with the programs we're offering. We also run study abroad fairs where we invite students to come and talk with us, our partners, some global ambassadors. We also ask students, meet with your academic advisor, start having those conversations of I want to study abroad. I would like to put that study abroad piece into my academic map. When would be the best time to do it?
Okay. And when do you apply? This one is looking for spring 2027. I'm not sure if that's a mistake.
Yeah, so we actually
Hey,
open
so
up programs
when
a
do you
year
apply?
in advance. We open
Really?
programs a year in advance. So we'll open spring 2027 in February
Of this year?
of 2026. We
Wow, I
open
never
a year in advance.
I didn't
Rosia's
realize it was
yeah, Rosia started her summer programs already. So the
okay.
summer is open.
Um, when do applications open? You just answered that so that we can check that one off the list. This is, yeah, are programs that offer study abroad internships worthwhile? I think that's kind of a question to answer maybe for you.
I'm going to say yes. It provides a international experience. It allows students to see, you know, how work is done in other countries, different perspectives, and you just bring that knowledge back to not only the Rutgers campus, but also when you're going out into the real world.
All right. No, that's very true. That's very true. And here's another question. How much do you need to know the local language if you're not English? If it's not English, sorry.
Well, again, as I said, most of the programs, the language of instruction is in English. English is spoken all over the world. So many of our countries, you know, students can navigate using their English language. We do always want students to try to learn the language. Hello, thank you, please, where is? And as they immerse themselves in the culture, we've had students become a lot more proficient in the language as long as they try to practice it and approach a person with the language.
Mhm. Great, thanks. This is an interesting, does the program a student goes abroad for, does it have to relate to their major of study?
It does not. And that's all part of the academic planning. If a student wants to go and have it fulfill degree requirements, they are welcome to do so. I've had many students go for the semester who they have the space in their schedule where they're looking to just take courses that are new and different, that for experience only. And that applies to the summer and the winter programs as well.
That's interesting. I know it makes sense, I guess. I'm pretty sure you answered this one, but let me just ask it. Can final year students participate in the study abroad program?
I'm sorry, can who?
Seniors, final year student, they're saying, but I'm assuming they mean,
Yeah, I mean, it comes with a little bit of discussion that needs to happen with me if they're looking to do their final semester, because there are factors to consider when you're looking to study abroad your final semester. It can be done as long as students are aware of certain factors, and I would definitely want to have a one-on-one conversation with a student.
okay. Let's see here. When a student studies abroad, do they have to stay on campus, or can they stay with relatives or family that maybe live in that country?
For the majority of, if you're looking at a semester, we do want students to be in university-sponsored housing, and that's because we know they're safe, they've been vetted, you know, the university abroad is aware of where that student is living. If a student is
Mhm.
choosing to live off campus for because of limited housing at the host university, or family or friends, it has to be requested through us, and we would have to approve that. But it's mainly for
Okay,
health
that
and
makes
safety reasons.
Sure. And I don't know the answer to this one either. Can students go for a whole year abroad, or is it just a semester?
Yes, yes. We've had
Really?
students do academic year. We've had students do academic year in a summer, academic year then a winter. I think our record was 7 semesters.
One student
One student, 7
went for
semesters.
7 semesters
Yep.
to all different places?
All different places, did short term, long term.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's an incredible experience.
yeah. I think
Um,
he did several major changes. So yeah.
wow, that's great. Um, again, and I'm not sure if you would know the answer to this, if somebody has health insurance through the university, will that cover them when they go abroad?
So we actually offer, we are required to enroll students in the Rutgers Risk Management International Health Insurance. It's called Crisis 24. It's built into a student's program cost. We automatically enroll students in that. So that's a given. You know, if a student is covered under the Rutgers, well, let me preface this by saying, as the student is covered internationally, we also require students to be still covered under a US-based health insurance, whether that be the Rutgers student health insurance or under a parent guardian, because as soon as the student would come back to the US, that international health insurance stops.
Okay, okay. Are there any formal check-ins with the student and their advisor? And I'm assuming they mean their advisor here at Rutgers.
If you're talking about academic advisors, yes, students should be checking in with academic advisors for studying abroad. And I'm going to preface it as a parent of a Rutgers student, also for your academic planning as well. From the study abroad piece, I meet with my students as often as they want to meet. Sometimes students want to meet with me once a week, which is absolutely fine.
Okay. Does anyone, when the student is abroad, does anyone monitor the students, or does the student need to check in with anyone?
I'm going to speak from a semester, and I'm going to have Rocio speak quickly about summer. On a semester side, we do a check-in mid-semester to see how students are doing. Is anybody watching them? No, because they're over 18 and they're a student and are responsible for themselves. Though we have we work with very student-centered universities who have very strong student support services. So students are always welcome and encouraged to access those resources should they need them. They also have access to us here at Rutgers. Rocio?
For short-term programs, I would say if they're doing a faculty-led program, then absolutely, because every day they have to report to the faculty, and it really is a short-term program, very intensive. You have to complete all the contact hours for maybe 3 credits in 2.5 weeks. So there's not a lot of free time for students to get into trouble. And we have these agendas. We're like, go, go, go all day. So they're very tired by nighttime. They just go to bed. And in other types of short-term programs where they're going to a university and taking a course, we have on the ground staff and partners there, but they are not babysitters.
It's probably no different than when they're here at Rutgers.
It's no different.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I have another question here about travel arrangements. How are the travel arrangements made? Does Rutgers help with that, or is it up to the student?
You want to speak faculty first, Rocio?
Okay, yeah. So the travel arrangement, once the program is confirmed, so that means that I have confirmed that I have enough students to go on this faculty-led program. So I send an email to the students, comes from me directly. It says, congratulations, you're going abroad. The program is confirmed. Here are your next steps. 1, buy your flight. This is the flight that you need to buy. So we tell them a recommended flight, typically coming out of Newark, but also we just really tell them the time that they need to arrive at the correct airport or a time frame, so that if they prefer to fly out of JFK, out of Philadelphia, maybe they're out of state students and they're going to be going home first, so they're flying out of a completely different airport, they still know where and when to land, and that information needs to be uploaded into their study abroad portal, so that then I can download a spreadsheet with every student's itinerary. I hand that over to the faculty, so the faculty is at the airport checking everybody off and monitoring those flights. So if there's a flight that was delayed or somebody lost their connection, there should be a way to know when they're going to land. And at the same time, we always tell students to download WhatsApp, because outside of the US, it's what is used the most. And it's a way to communicate with the group to say, hey, I missed my connection. Hey, my flight is delayed. I'm still getting there 2 hours later. Is somebody going to be there? And for provider programs or university programs, the students, it depends. It really depends. Sometimes there is airport pickup that has been arranged. So the students will get directives like, you have to get here before 7 p.m. So if you get there at 5, you know that you have to wait until 7. And sometimes if it's like a very small location, very easy city, like I'm thinking, if they are doing a winter program in Sevilla in the south of Spain, the airport really has like 2 gates. So it's so easy to get there. It's a very small airport. You just exit get on in a taxi, and in 20 minutes you're at your location. So we will just give students those directions. And for any nervous flyers, we make sure to connect them with the students that are going to be their classmates, so that they can get a travel buddy, share a taxi, wait for each other at the airport and do it together, et cetera, et cetera.
Great, thanks. Hattie, were you going to answer that?
Actually, Rocio covered it
Okay.
right on point.
Great. So, and this came up, I thought of this while Rocio was answering the question. So I don't know how common it is that, a couple of Rutgers students will go to the same university abroad. Is that pretty common? And
Yeah,
when,
I mean, it can be for some of our programs, they're very, very popular. Like for Italy this year, I'm sending 58 students to one program.
wow.
So yes, there are programs where there will be a group of students. I have some programs that only one student will go, but that's not anything for a student to hopefully fret about, because they're going to meet people when they get on the ground there. And just to follow up with Rocio, as she mentioned, we do give students the contact information, their names and emails of all the students who are going abroad. So they are welcome to start group chats or whatever students do nowadays.
And I think you said that, they'll be traveling together in most cases
Yeah,
to
on the
get over
faculty-led,
to school.
yes, definitely on the faculty-led. On the semester side, it really is up to the students to decide if they want to travel with a buddy or whatever.
Okay. And I think Rocio touched on it also. What about transportation from the
Yeah,
airport
definitely on the
and to
faculty side,
school?
because on the faculty side, the faculty is with them. So they've already arranged all the pickups and the transport and going from here to there. On the semester side, most of the programs will provide either airport pickup, or they'll give instructions of how to get from airport to university. Um, so there's a lot of pre-departure information, pre-arrival information that is shared with students.
Okay. I have a question. This is an interesting question. How to maintain to be a student athlete when you're abroad? I'm not sure they could do that.
Yeah, they can actually.
Wow.
Go ahead, Rocio. You're,
No, you go because you said they can.
yeah, student athletes. I've had a couple student athletes do summer
Oh
program.
yeah, for sure. So the short-term programs, they're eligible, and luckily we offer many, and they don't always start during the same time. So my summer programs don't all start on the same date. I have summer programs that start May 18th. I have summer programs that start July 25th. Another one is August 14th. So if they happen to be on a break, on official vacation, they're not in training or anything like that, they will take that time to participate in one of the programs.
Same with a winter program.
Same.
If for some reason they have that break is open, they are welcome and encouraged to do that as well.
So they most likely can't travel for a semester-based one?
More than likely not. I mean, I can only say I've ever had one track athlete, but they had talked with their coach, and it was worked out somehow.
Okay. And we talked about applications opening, but is there a deadline to apply?
Yes. For the semester programs, our deadlines are anywhere for fall will be anywhere from like to be February 1st to March 1st. For our spring programs, it'll be anywhere from some September 1st to October 1st. All the deadlines are clearly outlined on our program page. Summer, winter, Rocio?
Same. The deadlines are on each page. For summer, there's only a handful, mainly those internship programs that I was talking about before that have earlier deadlines of January 31st, or it might be February 15th. The rest of the programs, so the big majority, the big group, it's going to be March 1st. And for winter programs, the deadline is October 1st.
Okay, great. And I know it's 8 o'clock now, so we have time for I'll just get two more questions in that haven't been asked yet. Does Rutgers have a student exchange program?
Yes, we have an exchange program with a number of universities abroad. Yeah, if there's a specific country, the student should reach out to me and I can tell them if it's an exchange. But ultimately, the process is the same. If it's an exchange or what we call a direct enroll. They still apply through us to the partner university, and then when accepted, they're a student of that university. while
Oh.
maintaining Rutgers status.
I didn't realize that Rutgers did that. And this is the final question. What's the necessary GPA in order to qualify?
Well, every single program is going to have their own GPA requirement that's going to be clearly outlined on our program page. For the summer and the winter, good GPA standing, correct me if I'm wrong, Rocio, so usually about 2.5 or above.
Yeah.
On the semester side, it can be anywhere from 2.5 or above to 3.0 and above.
Okay, great. Well, it's 8 o'clock, so that brings us to the end. I thank you guys, everybody from Study Abroad that was here tonight. To everybody who is in the audience, you will receive a recording of this. Anybody who registered for the info session will get a link to the recording of it as well. Marissa, are you gonna send the chat Q&A?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll get, in the next day or two, you'll get all the information